Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's Gabriel, just another fan TV. Back at you another video. Like the content of this video, go ahead, hit that like button. Like the content of this channel, go ahead, subscribe, man. Ravens talk, NFL talk, football talk coming at you pretty much on a daily basis. So today I want to talk about is the Ravens offense changing or adding more stuff than what we've seen in the past. Now, first, before we get into that, I swear, literally when I hit record, the news came across that Ronnie Stanley's been activated off the PUP list. And then on the opposite end of that, Tyus Bowser has been placed on the reserve PUP list. Okay. So real quick, I'm gonna get into that. So now Ronnie Stanley, this is the news we've been waiting for. It honestly is. He's been activated off of the PUP list. He's passed his physical. So now it looks like he's going to get in that 2-3 weeks of practice that Harbaugh was mentioning, and he's going to be on track to play in week 1. That's huge. Now hopefully that this time that he's fully healed, he's in football shape and everything like that. That was the biggest thing with Ronnie Stanley. They said that he was still recovering, trying to get in football shape. So if that's the case, then cool. I'm happy with it. As far as Tyus Bowser, there was reports earlier in camp that he was trying to make it to play in week 1 and things like that. And I always thought that was a stretch. Okay. I mean, he tore his Achilles literally the last game of the regular season last year. Trying to play week 1 the following season, that would have been a giant effort. I mean, I know Cam Akers kind of did that, turned his Achilles in training camp and playing in the playoffs. So Tyus Bowser trying to do the same kind of thing. It just felt like a rush to me. So I'm glad that they're letting Tyus Bowser take his time. Now, what's going to happen is on that reserve PUP list, as we know, he's going to miss the first 4 games of the week automatically, just like Gus Edwards. So we'll see Tyus Bowser week 5. When the Ravens play, if he's ready to go at that time. That's the earliest he can play is week 5. That's what I should say. All right. So what I want to talk about today is the Ravens offense. Is it changing? Now, the reason that this came to mind because when I was watching the game, the Cardinals game in particular, I was thinking to myself, I'm not seeing a lot of pistol offense out here. Now, obviously, the preseason is to see young players, to try out new things, and I get that. But, the Ravens, the pistol offense has been a staple of what Greg Roman does. And every offseason, we hear about this new 20% being added, the Greg Roman's imaginary vault, and all these kind of things that kind of can drive Ravens fans a little crazy, right? But he might actually be adding new stuff into the scheme this year. When I watched the game, I saw a lot more under center. I saw a lot more traditional shotgun formation, and the field was spread out. It wasn't all this condensed sets and just 2 wide receivers and things like that. It was a lot of spread out. 2 on this side, 3 on that side. You know what I mean? I think when the Ravens were in that best of 2019, obviously they had the ground game working out, but they also let Lamar Jackson go empty a number of times, and he was good when he was playing in empty sets, right? So I could see the Ravens going back to where the pass offense isn't so vanilla. Like last year, the Ravens had a good distribution of pass and run. They were 54-46 pass last year. And I think that's kind of the neighborhood that they want to live at. Now, obviously, injuries and things like that changed the offense slightly, but it might have been the best thing for them because it showed them that, hey, we can do this and still win games. So like I said, every offseason we hear about this 20% that Greg Roman's supposed to be adding. Right. And I think last year we really might have saw it, but we remember Lamar Jackson got COVID right at the start of training camp, missed like the first 2.5 weeks of training camp, and that part of the offense didn't get installed. Or at least didn't get installed fully. Right. Now Greg Roman has said this offseason that now we could do different things because of, whatever the reason. And I think that we're seeing that. Now, obviously, you don't want to show teams everything you're going to do in the preseason. So maybe that's why we're not seeing a lot of the Ravens' traditional pistol offense. But just seeing that under center was a focus throughout the offseason, right? As far as what Greg Roman was saying. You're seeing it in the games. They're going a lot of under center, right? And then also I'm seeing just a lot of, regular shotgun things that is really encouraging. So, like, obviously, I think I'm already have some of the highlights from the game playing up here in the corner. So you could just see when the play starts, just see how the Ravens are lined up, right? I think a good play was even on the goal line, right? When Tyler Bailey catches that touchdown pass, they're under center, tight formation. They fake it to Tyler Bailey. He comes out the backfield, boom, touchdown, right? Tyler Huntley delivers a good pass. Now, I'm not going to say something like, they're running like kind of like the Shanahan offense, or like that. I don't think it's the Ravens offense is going to change that drastically. But I will say is that for once we got to give Greg Roman a little bit of credit. It's the preseason, so we'll see how much this sticks. But he seems to be adding new things and changing it up. Now, whether that's the new offensive staff that's in here with Kerry Dixon and T. Martin and Keith Williams, where there seem to be things in here that are different from the past. And that's good. It's time for a little bit of a change, a little bit of a wake up call, right? You got to do things a little different. You can't have the same offense every year without adding something to it. So if the Ravens are going to continue to do what they're doing in preseason, that's going to lead to a lot of easy completions for a guy like Lamar Jackson. Now imagine having Lamar Jackson under center and then having him boot out. You know, the defense has to know whether they have to think about whether they have to commit to the run or commit to him throwing the ball down the field. So if we can see something like that, I'll be very happy with it. Now, obviously, some of these things you can do in the pistol, but adding under center gives the Ravens a different look. That's it really, because obviously you can play action and boot out of the pistol. Ravens don't do it very often. They do a lot of play action, but not really a lot of boot action. So that's what I'm looking for. Right? I mean, you know, there are certain formations that I was seeing during the game where it was like Shamar Bridges solo side receiver as the X. Then there was three guys like that on the other side, on the trip side. You had your tight end as the guy closest to the line of scrimmage. Just things that looked different from what you're seeing from the traditional how the Ravens have played. And to me, that's exciting. That's exciting, right? Now, once again, I'm not the Greg Roman's biggest fan, anything like that. I'm just saying that it does look a little different from how it's been in the past, and that's a good thing. If the Ravens can continue to elevate, continue to change up the way that they play, it's only going to help them and make them less predictable. And obviously, doing this, it looks like they're expanding the pass game, right? Because the Ravens have to get better in that area. Every playoffs we see it, it comes down to either concepts or guys not winning. So if you don't have the most talented receivers in the world, you got to have good concepts, right? That's a reason why like Shanahan can get guys open. You know, McVay can get guys open because the concepts are good. Now they have talented players, obviously. That's part of the equation. But the concepts are good as well. So that's what I'm seeing, you know, and I want to see if that continues when we go into this last preseason game versus the Commanders. If that's still the trend that we're seeing, not really any pistol, a lot of under center, a lot of traditional shotgun, some more spread type stuff. That's what I'm looking for in this last preseason game. Because if that's the case, then now obviously, like I said before, preseason you don't show everything, but the Ravens really could be committing to a newer, fresher offensive strategy. One where they can actually mix it up and not be so predictable. That's the main thing. You know, eliminating that being so predictable in your offense to be able to stretch the field, move the ball, you know, in an efficient manner. Now, when we look at like a guy like Tyler Huntley, he can go 13 for 14 because he is a talented quarterback, but also because you got to think the completions have to be easy as well. So if you're getting your quarterback easy completions, that's the first step. Now you can push the ball down the field, which we saw a guy like Anthony Brown do. Push the ball down the field. He delivers that strike to Riley Webb for the touchdown, right? So that's the kind of things that can happen when you develop an offense where things are a little easier. There's not everything's not such a struggle, and you're changing it up. That's the biggest thing. The Ravens changing it up. So let me know what you think. Are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing? Am I going crazy, or is it seems like the Ravens are not running as much pistol in the preseason? And do you think that this 20% that Greg Roman has been talking about before is finally being added in? We're actually seeing some of it now. So let me know in the comment section, man. It's your boy Gabriel, this is Fan TV. I'm out.